So today I want to start off by asking you a really important, valuable, and ultimately powerful question. And that is, how likely are you to initiate a hard conversation with someone that is important to you, someone that matters to you? A life partner, a business partner, a family member, a close friend. How likely are you to initiate a conversation? Let me tell you a quick story about why having the ability to express your emotions and your feelings in a healthy way strengthens relationships. It does not weaken them. One of my very best friends, his name is Matthew. This is going to be a funny story. Matthew, he listens to the podcast, and I'm sure he's going to hear this and he's going to laugh. And I've talked about Matthew before. There's some people in my life that are very close to me. Kyle, my best friend I grew up with. Matthew, my best friend I met in college. Chris, a guy in London who's become very close to me professionally. These are the people I refer to as best friends. And Matthew is my best friend from college. And Matthew was dating a girl in college. And, he was dating this girl and she really liked him. He really liked her. And I knew the girl. I knew the girl before Matthew did. I didn't have any romantic relationship with her at all, but she was a friend of mine, and then they start dating. And then for whatever reason, and we're 19 at the time, you do goofy, immature things at that stage of life. And for whatever reason, that girl tells Matthew that I told her that she should break up with him. That is not what I said, and I did not say that. But obviously, Matthew and I were very close. Matthew hears that and decides to come and talk to me. Like, Matthew hears that and he's like, I gotta go talk to Elliott. And he comes and talks to me like, did this happen? And we were able to have a very, direct conversation. No, Matthew, that's not what happened. Here's what happened. Blah, 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 blah. That's a very healthy way for Matthew to express his feelings. He was upset that his friend would talk to someone he was dating in that way. And Matthew and I are still, that was nearly 30 years ago. Matthew and I are still very close friends today, and I'm going to tell you why. So welcome back to the Aha Moments, where every day I share the lessons I've learned in my work as a psychotherapist and in my life to inspire you to live your very best life. Of course, I'm your host, Elliott Connie. And like I said, that was literally nearly 30 years ago, and Matthew and I are still very, very close friends. Why? Because we are capable of expressing our feelings and emotions, no matter what it is, to one another. Now, in that example, Matthew was frustrated with me because he heard that I told his then girlfriend that she should stop dating Matthew. So that bothered him, and he wanted to talk to me about it. Hey, Elliott, is this true? Did you really tell my girlfriend that she should not be around me? Because that would hurt him. He would be annoyed by that, and justifiably so. Now, I'm sitting here thinking, I can't think of another time where Matthew heard something that I said negatively about him or to someone else about him or anything like that. But there have been lots of times when things were happening in the world, like Matthew would call me and he'd say, hey man, I'm really struggling with this, or this. Matthew is now a lawyer. I remember some of the hard times he had in law school. He's a brilliant man, so he didn't really struggle in law school, but law school is hard. And he would call me when you're studying for the bar and talk about how it's challenging. Matthew would talk to me when he had heartbreak along the years. And I would call Matthew when I was having struggles in my life, when I was struggling with heartbreak, or when I was having a hard time in graduate school, or when I've had some issues in my professional career. Like, I can call him and be 100% honest. I can call Matthew and say, hey man, here's what's happening. Here's how I'm responding to it. Here's what I'm dealing with. The other thing that Matthew does that is incredible is if I tell Matthew that some really difficult thing has happened and I'm thinking about dealing with it by such and such, like this really hard thing has happened, I just want to go have a drink. Matthew advocates for me to do healthy things, not unhealthy things. So if I tell him, man, this really difficult thing has happened, I'm just going to go sit at a bar, and I'm not even a drinker, right? So if I say that to Matthew, he cares about me, and he knows that you're not the kind of guy that does that. It's not the healthiest way to deal with that. Hey man, maybe you should just sleep on it and just stay home tonight. Just sleep on it. Call me in the morning. Or, hey man, like let's jump on a video game or whatever. Like over the years, that's what healthy friendships do. And when you learn to just express your true experience, even if it's a hard conversation, like, hey man, I heard something, we need to talk. Or if it's a vulnerable conversation, like, this girl just broke up with me, I'm really struggling and I'm down and I'm having dangerous thoughts, man. You have to learn how to do that, but you also have to learn how to keep people around you that respond in a caring way when you do that. So practice the art of expressing your genuine experience, whether it's I'm frustrated with my partner, I'm frustrated with my sibling. Like practice the art of having those authentic conversations that come from an authentic place, and also notice and be aware of how people respond, because that's going to dictate how much access they should have in your life. Thanks for being here. If you wouldn't mind doing me a super huge favor, I would love it if you would share this podcast with at least one person in your life that you think could benefit from hearing this message today. And also don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you listen to your podcast. And also follow me on all of the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky. You can search for my name, Elliott Connie, or at Elliott Speaks. That's my handle across all platforms. Can't wait to see you tomorrow.